Welcome, everybody. I'm Lane Levanway, and you know what time it is. Sit back, relax, and let's talk about Constantine Episode 8, The Saints of Last Resort, Part 1. Okay, guys, so if you're finding my video for the first time, every week after the Constantine episode, I do a top 5 moments. Now, I'm not reviewing the episode. I leave that for people who are far more knowledgeable in reviewing critique than I, but I instead just go over my personal top 5 moments of this episode. Now, I really liked this episode. Episode 8 is the mid-season finale. We've got to wait about 4 weeks until the rest of the show comes back, and we get what? The next 5 episodes? This is going to be really good. And Matt Ryan on Twitter has said that he thinks that Part 2 is his favorite episode of the season, so definitely looking forward to that. And in this one, we get to meet a new person from Newcastle, from the ancient Newcastle, where all that bad stuff happened with the girl getting sucked down to hell, and her name is Anne Marie, and she is now a nun in Mexico, in a convent in Mexico, and she needed to call upon John because somebody is stealing a baby. Someone stole a baby, and the last person she wants is John's help. Because of that incident in Newcastle, she doesn't want nothing to do with John, but she needs him, so she calls John, says, I need your help. Come down, and plot stuff happens. We get to meet some new baddies and get to maybe figure out perhaps who the Rising Darkness might be. Is it really them or not? We don't know, but that's what John seems to think. But that's sort of just a quick synopsis of the episode. Let's get in to my personal top 5. Now, of course, remember that these top 5 aren't in order of importance. They're generally just in order, chronological order throughout the episode. Number 1! Alright, so in this episode there are a lot of fun, interesting moments. We see a new thing of a new room inside the magical tower thing that they live in, and you get this cool thing with Anne Marie appearing in 2 places at once. But that isn't what I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is very disgusting. It is a bloody fruit tree. That's what I called it, the bloody fruit tree. It produces human fruit, so the baby, John needs a connection to the baby, so they're going for the placenta. The placenta was buried under a tree. They get there. Anne Marie's digging, trying to get it, and John's like looking at the fruit, and he picks off a fruit, and she's like, is that human skin? And he sticks it, and blood pours out. And then blood starts pouring out of like all of the fruit. And John's like, well, the placenta is definitely here. It's a human fruit tree. And it's fruit with human skin filled with blood. And it's disgusting and amazing all at the same time. I loved it. That is my number 1. Number 2! Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but we get to meet a new creature, a lashu, which is like this vampirous demonic thing that I think that John describes as a sister of Eve, and they've been around, I think, for a long, long time. Well, this creature is stealing the babies, and she's awesome, and there's a scene where the flirtatious nun keeps intruding upon John throughout the episode, and here he is getting ready to summon something, and he's got this bowl of worms, and he's gonna try to figure out to get the creature there, and the nun comes running up, and she's just trying to, you need to come up, I need to talk to you, let's go, and he sees the way the worms are reacting, and he starts to realize, oh crap, I think this might be her, and then he goes, I need to clean out my bowl, and he's doing it, and he sees her reflection be all weird, and then, whatever, he starts to do his voodoo, his magic, whatever, and she freaks out. And, she's full on, like, this creature, and they attack, and they get a fight scene, and she's drowning him in this fountain. She's shaking him and drowning him, oh, God, and he's fighting, right? He doesn't stick his tongue out when he fights, so he's a much cooler fighter, but he's getting drowned, he pulls out a knife, stabs her, and it's just this cool, quick fight scene where you're like, John's not gonna die in this scene, but still, it's cool, he's getting his butt kicked a little bit. I like seeing the good guys get their butt kicked, it seems more realistic, as long as they win. I still want the good guys to win. Most of the time. Sometimes I do like when the villain wins occasionally. Every once in a while, it's a nice spice. It's a different. Anyway, it was cool. The whole idea of these creatures. And so I really enjoyed it. And that was my number 2. Number 3. Okay, so number 3 is it stretches throughout the episode, but it's about Zed. And Zed gets left behind in this episode because John and Ash, Evil Dead, John and Chaz go to Mexico to deal with the convent and the baby thing, and he leaves Zed at home to recover from whatever she has to recover from, and she goes out and meets Eddie, the nude model from the last episode that she was painting, and she invites him back. She goes out to dinner with him and has this weird vision of him, and so she invites him back to the place, and then she kicks the crap out of him. She's badass. She's like, oh, cool, another. Except that, before it was John getting his butt kicked. This time the good guy's doing the butt kicking, and then he calls her Mary. So we get to know her name now. It's Mary, and how important she is to this group, and apparently, and then she's like, if you told anybody about me, whatever, and you can't believe you let them in, you don't know who these people are, and 2 more bad guys show up, and then she's like, I'll kill him, and they kill Eddie. They're like supposed to be on the same team, but they're like, whatever, Eddie's dead, because apparently they want her. And then there's a whole big fight scene with them, and they're fighting, like, that spans, it's not in one moment, it spans throughout the episode, but then she's being chased by them, and then she gets in this brawl with the female of the 2, and they're fighting. Well, remember earlier I mentioned just that there was new rooms, and there was this room that, like, opened up into eternity, into, like, just space and whatever, and she's fighting the girl, and she opens the door, knocks her into that room, and that girl just screams, boom, she's gone. But now there's only the guy left, and Zed's got to fight. But Zed gets snuck up on, and the guy takes a syringe, and he sticks it in her and knocks her out. So she's probably captured. Remember, this is a mid-season finale. That's what they got to leave us with. But it was cool seeing Zed. You get to know her name, but to me, that doesn't mean anything as of yet, because for the comics, I don't know yet what that is building towards, what Mary might mean for her and this group, but getting some piece of her, and then watching this fight scene, she can hold her own quite well, was really cool. Number 4. Okay, so number 4 is where we get to learn what appears to be what the rising darkness is. But now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pronounce this correctly either, but I believe it's something like brujeria, something like that. I don't know, but apparently there's some ancient warlocks from, like, beyond time, before time, from the ancient lands, before Chile was Chile, and but they've been gone, and there's no way to stop them. Apparently they're insanely powerful, but they've been gone for a long time. Nobody's heard about them. But apparently that's not true. Apparently they've been hiding this whole time, as John seems to learn, and now the idea of the rising darkness and these ancient warlocks, these warlocks are the rising darkness. Is it true? Well, we don't know yet. But this is now the theory for John, that if these things are real and they've been alive this whole time, they weren't ever extinct, these warlocks, and they are here and they're pissed and they've been hiding for however many millions or thousands or whatever, 10,000s of years, and they've been in hiding, and now they're here to do whatever they're going to do, and they're starting to and do their stuff, which we see every episode where stuff happens. The bad stuff. That's them, apparently. That's what's going on. So that was neat to see. We start to get a hint of of the darkness, of what the baddie is going to be. You gotta have a name for it. You can only have it be this vagueness for so long before we kind of don't care about it as much. And so now that we can attach sort of an entity to it, these warlocks, this group of people, they're ancient and they're powerful. No, that sounds ominous. Now we can invest something into these bad guys, and that's why it's my number 4. Really, it's my number 4 because it's just chronological, but still, it was my number 4. Number 5! Okay, number 5. Again, we're getting to the end of the episode, and I've been doing this a lot the last couple episodes where I mentioned that this is a huge spoiler. The number 5s always seem to be these giant moments at the end of the episodes, because lately the moments at the end of the episodes are so good. So, this one is no different, because again, this is the mid-season finale. They gotta leave us hanging for the next 4 weeks wondering what's going on. So, if you don't want to know how the episode ends because you haven't seen it yet, you need to click off, go away, I'll give you some seconds. There, those were your seconds, and now we're gonna talk about it now, and if you're still here, you're gonna be spoiled! So, they go down after the Trichas, the Lumarchas, whatever they were called, Lumashtus, and they go after them to get the babies, and then they get the babies, and they kill, and John does a little bit of mojo, bloop, 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 and destroys or sends back the Lumashtu to wherever she's from, and they get the babies, and they're getting ready, him and Anne-Marie, by the way, it's John and Anne-Marie, they're getting ready to get out, and then they hear what they think is another baby. Oh no, is there another baby? We have to go back and get it. But it is not another baby. It is apparently a creature of unbeknownst power, another one of these things that's like from the beginning of time, and I don't think I'm going to pronounce this one right either, but it's like Invunche, something like that, Invunche, and it's supposed to be like this uber, super powerful, amazing demon that John has no idea how to destroy, and there it is, and John's like, oh, crap, that's what they thought was the baby, was this thing. And she's like, and Anne-Marie's like, what do we do now? And he's like, I don't know. And if we make a run for it, it's going to come. And Anne-Marie takes the gun that she has, and she's like, no, I'm going to shoot you, and then it will hunt you down, and then me and the babies can get away, because there's no price too high to save the innocent, which was a line that John had used to her earlier in the episode, that there is no price too high when it comes to saving the incident. There is no price too high when it comes to the innocent. Now that line's being thrown back in his face, and he's just sort of like, oh, you've learned quick, love, you've learned quick. And so she shoots him. Boom! She doesn't shoot him to die, because she doesn't want him dead. She wants him wounded so that this creature, or this demon, will come and get him. So she shoots him, and she runs off. And then John peeks around. You can see this thing coming, and he's holding his stomach, and he's just like, oh, God. And he's down. What's he going to do? What? That's how it ends? So it ends with him being shot, and and then, of course, it's Zed got injected, and so it looks like she's going to be captured. And we have to wait 4 weeks for the next one to find out what's going to happen, but that was just shooting him. Oh no, I know he's not going to die. And you see a preview for the next episode where what looks like that happens is he somehow takes the demon into himself to use himself as a vessel to trap the demon, and then they have to get that demon out of him before it consumes him or kills him or destroys his soul. So that's what's coming. That was still a great way. Bonus number 6. That's not a set. Bonus number 6. Okay, so another bonus item. And this is just a quick one. I've mentioned it before, but there's the whole smoking issue of Constantine on the episode and the show. And generally, there's quick clips. I've mentioned clips where you kind of see him with a cigarette in his mouth. Well, this time he fully just took a cigarette, stuck it in his mouth, took a light, lit it, took a puff. Only the one puff. Then he holds it for the rest of that scene, but you actually saw him put the cigarette in his mouth and light it. So there you go. That's cool. They're like progressing what you can see. Now, there's only, again, so far they're going to go on network television, but they really are trying to hold true to the comics. And the character's a smoker, and they want you to see the fact that they know that, and they are trying to do what they can. Okay, guys, we're done. I know it's already over, and there's not a new episode for 4 weeks, so what are we going to do? I always have these Constantine episodes. Well, here's what we could do. If you have any questions about Constantine, put them in the comments below. Ask me a question. I'll find out the answer or do the best I can to speculate. There's lots of resources I can go to, and I can study up and learn some things and ask people, ask us questions, and then we can do, or we can speculate, and we can do another episode next week, and we can talk about these things. Otherwise, if I don't get any comments or questions about that stuff, then perhaps next week I can just do a speculation type episode where I will go ahead and address some questions I might have, or some ideas of what things might happen, or things they've done that are close. Just something to keep the Constantine going, keep the love of Constantine rising. This week's episode was an up in the ratings from a 0.8 to a 1.0. That's great. We need to keep it rising for the next couple episodes because we really want them to renew this for a season 2. Hopefully you guys just like this video, and if you do, go ahead and hit that like so that I know. And of course you want to subscribe because you want to be aware of all the Constantine videos that come out. Plus I've got movie reviews, and I do some movie news, and we've got a brand new show on the channel called Psych Flicks with my buddy Jess Willens. And he is a therapist, and he goes into characters, and each week he goes in and analyzes characters from popular or new movies, and he analyzes the characters from a psychological standpoint so that you can get to know the characters better that you love or hate. And he generally focuses on one character from a movie and talks about the movie and why they might have whatever psychological problem they have and makes them act the way they do. It's kind of a neat show. It's brand new. Give it some love. Give us suggestions because episode 2 is different from episode 1, and episode 3 is going to be a little bit different. We're trying to make changes and improve it, so you guys should watch that. And you need to subscribe to the channel so you can see all that cool stuff. And we'd love it, and check out everything else. And until next time, watch more TV.